Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Gora Premanandi. Will be good if they can fix this key here. Just need to put some little wood attached to it and we can play it. I have difficulty playing that. This one. What about tapas? Anything done? It's good? Oh, good. Very good. Okay. Radhe Radhe Shyam. Okay, take it. Take it away. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunainu Manushya Janama Payara Krishna Navajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishaka. Okay. So we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 16. Right? The chapter entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. Since everyone has a Bhagavad Gita, you can repeat the mantra after me. Karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dhukam Agyanam tamasa phalam karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukam agyanam tamasa phalam. Anybody else? Bhakta Baba, I think you need new glasses. The way you were holding your glasses. Better get the new ones, you know. You were struggling there. Okay, go ahead. Will you like to read? Karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam samsukakam dukam ajnana tamasa phalam. Okay, the ladies would like to? No? Okay. All right. Translation, please repeat. Karmana, of work. Sukritasya, pious. Ahu, is said. Satvikam, in the mode of goodness. Nirmalam, purified. Phalam, the result. Rajasa, of the mode of passion. But phalam, the result. Dukam, misery. Agyanam, nonsense. Tamasa, of the mode of ignorance. Phalam, the result. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Purport. The result of pious activities in the mode of goodness is pure. Therefore the sages who are free from all illusion are situated in happiness. But activities in the mode of passion are simply miserable. Any activity for material happiness is bound to be defeated. If, for example, one wants to have a skyscraper, so much human misery has to be undergone before a big skyscraper can be built. The financier has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. The miseries are there. Thus Bhagavad Gita says that in any activity performed under the spell of the mode of passion, there is definitely great misery. There may be a little so-called mental happiness. I have this house or this money, but this is not actual happiness. As far as the mode of ignorance is concerned, the performer is without knowledge, and therefore all his activities result in present misery, and afterward he will go on toward animal life. Animal life is always miserable, although under the spell of the illusory energy, Maya, the animals do not understand this slaughtering poor animals also due to the mode of ignorance. The animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. That is the law of nature. In human society, if one kills a man, he has to be hanged. That is the law of the state. Because of ignorance, people do not perceive that there is a complete state controlled by the Supreme Lord. Every living creature is a son of the Supreme Lord, and he does not tolerate even an ant being killed. One has to pay for it. So indulgence in animal killing for the taste of the tongue is the grossest kind of ignorance. A human being has no need to kill animals because God has supplied so many nice things. If one indulges in meat eating anyway, it is to be understood that he is acting in ignorance and is making his future very dark. Of all kinds of animal killing, the killing of cows is most vicious because the cow gives us all kind of pleasure by supplying milk. Cow slaughter is an act of the grossest type of ignorance. In Vedic literature, Rig Veda 9:46-4, the words Gobi Prinita Matsaram indicate that one who being fully satisfied by milk is desirous of killing the cow is in the grossest ignorance. There is also a prayer in the Vedic literature that states Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. May, my Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the brahmanas, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. Vishnu Puran 1:1965. The purport is that special mention is given in the prayer for the protection of the cows and the brahmanas. Brahmanas are the symbol of spiritual education, and cows are the symbol of the most valuable food. These two living creatures, the brahmanas and the cows, must be given all protection. That is real advancement of civilization. In modern human society, spiritual knowledge is neglected and cow killing is encouraged. It is to be understood then that human society is advancing in the wrong direction and is clearing the path to its own condemnation. A civilization which guides the citizens to become animals in their next lives is certainly not a human civilization. The present human civilization is, of course, grossly misled by the modes of passion and ignorance. It is a very dangerous age, and all nations should take care to provide the easiest process, Krishna consciousness, to save humanity from the greatest danger. Om Magyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble and respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll read the translation again. The result of pious action is pure, and it is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. So different activities have different results. According to the Bhagavad Gita, there are three modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And if one acts in either of them, the result will be different from each other. So the mode of goodness means pious activities and bring about happiness, well-being. Activities in the mode of passion, they bring misery. Prabhupada gives the example of building a skyscraper building. So you have to put a lot of money in it, and so many men have to work on it, and it's miserable. Few words. And then comes some terrorist and take it down with an airplane, and some bombs may be inside too. I mean, and then they build another ones, and so the whole thing is troublesome. So the modern civilization is based mostly in passion and ignorance. Passion because you need passion to do something. But if you do it without knowing what is the goal of life, you will end up suffering. People think the goal of life is to enjoy the sense gratification the most possible. But human life is not meant for sensual gratification, but rather for self-realization, to understand the self. The self is the soul, which is eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. So it's a great science to understand oneself. Many people talk about knowing yourself, but they think it's the mind or something else. But the real self is eternal. When the body dies, that self doesn't die. That's the real identity. Atman, Aham Brahmasmi. I am a spirit. When Prabhupada went to Venezuela, he was interviewed by a group of yoga and a group of metaphysics too. The same day, they arrived a few minutes apart from each other. First arrived a yoga professor with his students, and he was having a conversation with Prabhupada. So the Prabhupada asked him, do you believe in God? The man said, yes, we believe in God, but we don't believe that God can have name or form because that will be a limitation. No? And Prabhupada said, so, but do you believe that God created the universe? Oh, yes, of course. Of course, we believe that. Prabhupada said, very good. So, with our tiny intelligence, we have manufactured this big airplane, 747, for 500 passengers, maybe 100, 200 of those airplanes, with our tiny brain. But God, with His unlimited brain, has created millions of planets and galaxies, and they're floating in space, by His power. Do you accept that? And the man said, Master, do you want to say that God has a brain? Prabhupada said, yes, thank you for confirming it. Brain means a person. Unless you believe in science fiction and the brain is in a jar and sending waves, to control people's mind or something. Brain means a person, So, anyway, the conversation went on, and Prabhupada explained to him the three aspects of the Absolute Truth. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. How the verses start? Badanti tattva vidas tattva jnana madvayam Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. That the seers of the truth concluded that the Absolute Truth, it's understood in three aspects. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman is the impersonal energy. This material world is actually manifestation of Brahman. And because the elements, water, air, fire, are impersonal. Only when the soul enters the matter, and the material energy covers the soul and it looks like a person. But the body is not the person. The person is inside the body. So, but Krishna is Para-Brahman, the Supreme Brahman. We are Brahman. We are spirit. But He's the Supreme Spirit. Anyway, Prabhupada went to explain to him the example of the sun and the sunshine entering through the window. You see the sun rays entering your window. Have you seen floating in the sunshine very tiny small particles? You can't see them unless they are in the sunshine. In the Bhagavatam it is said that one of those tiny small particles are 6 atoms attached together. So the Bhagavatam speak about atoms 5,000 years ago. Anyway, so So the Prabhupada explained to him, sunshine through your windows like the impersonal aspect, You go out of your room, you look at the sky, you see the sun globe. First you feel it on your head. Although the sun is everywhere, you also feel it localized on your head. So that's the Paramatma feature. Although it's everywhere, it's also localized on the heart of every living entity. And then you look at the sky, you see the planet, the sun planet. So that's the personal aspect. So anyway, they were talking. So the man became very favorable. He started asking nice questions. And then he said, very humbly at the end, he said, Master, I'm a family man and I'm very busy with jobs and everything. How can I practice a spiritual life? Please advise me. And Prabhupada told him, do as the devotees do. Chant Hare Krishna. Oh, I don't know how to chant. Can you please teach me? And Prabhupada made him repeat after him the whole Mahamantra. And the devotee wrote the Mahamantra on the paper for him, or card. They had a card, gave him a card. So, and at that time, the other group, the metaphysical group, came in, and they heard the last things about them chanting and all this thing. So the leader of them was a lady. She was famous at that time. She wrote many metaphysical books in Spanish. Connie Mendes was her name, a known metaphysical speculator. She raised her hand. Prabhupada said, yes, you have something to say? She said, yes. To me, this repetition of the mantra Hare Krishna is a kind of self-hypnotism. Like some tribes in Africa, they repeat certain words and they become self-hypnotized. So to me, it's something like that. Prabhupada said, that's your opinion. You are not an authority. Krishna is the authority, and he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Satatam kirtayanto mam, my devotees are always singing my glories. She kept arguing. Where for us in the Western world, the authority is Saint Germain. You know who's Saint Germain? A dark French philosopher. Dark means unknown, little known. So according to him, we should chant the name of God, I am. Prabhupada said, I am is not a name. Jesus, Jehovah, Allah, Krishna, Rama are names. But I am is not a name. She said, well, in the Bible, when God was asked, who are you? He answered, I am who I am. Prabhupada said, I don't know much about the Bible. Any of you have read it? One devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, I've read it. And it happened when God sent Moses to save his people from slavery of Egypt. So Moses asked God, and if they ask me who's sending me, what should I say? And God's answer was, tell them I am who I am. Obviously, they wanted to give his name for some reason. Unknown to us, He showed them the burning bush, and his voice was heard. God's voice was heard. But no giving names. If you have said Vishnu, who knows what will happen later. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, that's all right. God can say I am. You can say I am. But both I am are not on the same level. An owner of a business, he may say I am, and his employee may say also I am. But both I am are not in the same position. One is higher than the other. No? And the lady argued, well, in essence, we are all the same. Prabhupada said, essence means spirit, yes. We are a spirit and God is a spirit. But we are the tiny spirit and God is the great spirit, the bigger spirit. In the Bible it is said that when God said, let there be creation, immediately there was creation. But if you're hungry and you say, let there be chapati, no chapati will be there. You have to sweat. Chapati means bread. You have to sweat to get it. No? So there is a difference between you and God. And the lady kept arguing, well, Master, we are evolving. One day we will become God. Prabhupada said there is no such evolution. The part is always the part and the all is always the all. The part can never become the all. So she became a little depressed. She said, oh, Master, so we never gonna be one with the all. Prabhupada said, you are already in the all. You are one with the all, but you are not the all. It's like a part of a machine. You may say it is one with the machine, but the part is not the whole machine. It's part of it. Do you agree with that? Finally, the lady said, yes, I agree. We are part of the whole. Very good, Prabhupada said. Bring the prasad. End of discussion. Once they agree, okay. That is a fact. I mean, this idea that we can become God or we are God is foolish. Because if we are God and we forgot that we are God, means ignorance is more powerful than God. How is that God forgot himself? Is covered by ignorance. Has to be reminded, sir, sorry, you're God. I used to preach that philosophy before meeting the devotees. I was a impersonalist. I used to read a lot of books, from the Vedas even, no, by impersonalist commentators. Swami Ramacharaka and other kind of mental speculators. And my friends, they took me like, like a counselor, So once we were all together, they asked me, oh, please, you have read so many books, what conclusion you came to? I said, I came to the conclusion that we are not these material bodies, but we are the soul inside the body. But inside our body, God is also there. And since God is inside of us, then we are also God. Everything is revolving around us. We are the center of the universe. The sun is shining, the wind is blowing, because we are present in the universe. You are the most important thing in the whole universe. And all their ego became inflated. Oh yes, this is nice philosophy. We like it. But when I read Prabhupada's Sri Upanishad, it smashed all my wrong ideas. Totally smashed them. Then I accepted him as my spiritual master in my heart. He defeated me totally, completely. Anyway, so every action has its own reaction. That's the law of karma. And if we act in the mode of passion for material profit without considering, the outcome of such endeavor, we will end up suffering. Definitely. For example, a man meets a woman. They like each other, and they start a relationship. But after some time, they get jealous of this or that. They have a fight, and they got separated, and so much hatred is there. So they start like, everything's so nice and sweet, and end up with bitterness and hatred and horrible. So that's the mode of passion. The mode of goodness is that one is philosopher, one understands I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. The animals also have a soul. I should not harm the animals, should not kill them, If I see an ant, I should not step on the ant, should avoid it. According to the laws of God, even if you kill an ant, you have to pay for it. What to speak of killing an animal to eat it? That's a great sin. But people are in ignorance, so they don't know. Ignorance is not an excuse, though. It's not an excuse. It's a child put his hand in the fire will not think, oh, it's a child, I'm not going to burn it. No, no. You have to suffer to learn. Then you learn that it is not good for you to do that. So Prabhupada said the most grossest kind of ignorance is to kill animals to eat them and not knowing the suffering we're causing them. And once I was flying here in the U.S., and next to me there was a cowboy, you know, he had a big hat, Texan hat, and boots and everything. So he saw me dressed like this, so he wanted to have conversation. We start talking. And I explained to him about, you know, we should not kill the animals out of love, compassion. They are part of God's creation, all this. And he told me, well, I have to confess to you something. I have a ranch, and I hardly visit it, but I started visiting it a little more often. I have cows there, and for milk. But after they stopped giving milk, I used to sell the cows to the slaughterhouse. But then I started to visit more frequently the ranch. And the cows start recognizing me, and when they will see me, they will run to me and show some affection. And I start also to become, you know, affectionate with them. And then I realized I'm doing a big mistake. These animals have feelings. They are grateful. They, you know, and they are giving me milk. Why should I kill them? Then I decided not to sell them to the slaughterhouse. Even if they stop giving milk, I still let them live their life to die naturally. I said, that's a very good decision. You're an intelligent person. So all animals killing is bad, but especially the cow is very bad. Once I was traveling by car, I think I was going to Phoenix or so. We stopped on the way to buy some water or something, go to the bathroom. And I saw one Indian man coming out of McDonald's with a burger, you know, in his hand and everything. So I couldn't help it. I stopped him saying, are you Hindu? Yes, I'm Hindu. And why are you killing the cows if you are a Hindu? No, I'm not killing, I'm just buying it. Well, that's also helping it, you know. So it's not, you know it is not correct. And you know what argument he said? He said, these are not real cows. These are Melecha cows. The real cows are in India. These are not real cows. Then I told him, then the Westerners, we are not human beings. Only the one born in India are human beings. You know, people come out with some weird idea to justify their foolish actions. So the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. People don't know what they're doing and what for. What is the result? Have no idea. So that's the mode of ignorance. And they take the risks that in their next life they will be born as animals. You know? Because that's what the Bhagavad Gita teaching. You die in the mode of ignorance, your next life will be an animal. You die in the mode of passion, you will be human being. Whatever your karma is, you will get. If you die in the mode of goodness, you go to higher planets in this universe. But if you die in Krishna consciousness, then you go back home, back to God. That is the purpose of human life. To end up all of suffering, all misery, and to attain our eternal blissful life full of knowledge in the company and the service of the Supreme Lord. Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, please do. Ladies first. We need a mic.
Thank you so much for sharing all the knowledge and your presence here. Thank you. Could you please, I'm just searching for any information on two topics.
Yes.
And if you know anything, I would like to know. One is that if I understood correctly, that Krishna, when he was 16, and then his entire life changed, and then he became more serious, and he had a guru, and he for 2 years studied with the guru and did all the austerities and other things.
Okay.
So one question is if there's any way you know who the guru was.
Yes, the Guru's name was Sandipani Muni. Actually, Krishna is God, and He's the Guru of everyone. But to give example to human society of the importance of accepting a Guru, He Himself accepted Guru just to give the example to others. He didn't need to have Guru. He's the Guru of everyone, of the whole universe.
Could you please say the name again, please?
Sandipani Muni.
Thank you. And the other question, so in Vrindavan, from what I understood, there are a few lakes that one is Krishna's lake and one is Radha's lake, that according to some knowledge that I figured out, if you go there, you can purify 60 sins or something like that. Even Krishna himself had to do it. Do you know anything about the lakes? Thank you.
Yeah, I visited those lakes many times, of course. It's called Shyama Kunda and Radha Kunda. Very sacred place.
What is the significance of a Krishna devotee to go to those lakes, and can you please share that?
To remember Krishna, to be conscious that the Lord, when He was on earth 5,000 years ago, He performed many wonderful activities. And these lakes is a supernatural lakes, because Krishna killed a demon who had the shape of a bull. But it was a demon, was not a real bull. But still, following the advice, of others, he was advised to take bath in all the holy rivers. So Krishna called all the holy rivers on the spot and asked them to fill that place with water, so it became a lake. With his flute, he made a big hole, and the water with all the holy rivers, not only from this earth planet, from all over the universe, they obeyed his call, because he's the supreme. And from time to time, sometimes they clean those lakes to get all the mud from the bottom. They empty the water, and I was present in one of those, and to my great surprise, from the bottom of the lake, milk was coming out from the floor, like a fountain,
I'm sorry, which lake was that? Krishna or the Radha?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Are they I'm sorry, I just don't know much.
That's all right.
Are they next to each other? Or?
And there is no way to explain it, how milk was coming out of the floor like a small fountain like this. So in this universe there is a planet, the polar star, and it is said that there is a milk ocean there. Amazing, but we believe in these things because they are in the Vedas. We accept the Vedas as a spiritual authority of knowledge. So there are wonderful, you should read the Krishna book. You will find the life and teaching of Krishna wonderfully explained there.
Thank you so much.
Try to get it, that book, Krishna.
Okay.
Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, that is the title of the book. Yes.
Thank you.
In 5 minutes, okay, any other questions? You had a question, no? No, it's okay. We will make time.
Make time, okay.
Be brief, try to be brief.
Try to be brief. All right.
Summarize.
Maharaj, I was wondering if you could please clarify this for me. I've fallen under nescience. Please illuminate me on this matter. We understand that ultimately everything is Krishna. This can be proven inductively. If one
Let me disagree with you. Everything is not Krishna. Krishna is everything, but everything is not Krishna.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Go out now with your question.
So if one were to analyze anything in this world and they were to trace it back to its ultimate source, it would ultimately be coming from Krishna. Similarly, if one were to take the entire creation, one would see that nothing is separate from Krishna.
That's correct.
Also, we understand as a material and spiritual principle that which precedes is superior than that which succeeds. The consequent is dependent on the antecedent. For example, Manu, being the proto-human, the progenitor, contains the ultimate qualities of a human being. And from his progeny, down the line, it becomes diluted. Similarly, in the spiritual world, all the incarnations of Krishna, ultimately the full power comes from the original source. So my question, Maharaj, is we understand that simultaneous oneness and difference is the highest understanding. But in order to have the difference, doesn't everything ultimately have to come from the one source? Would the highest ontological understanding be the oneness as opposed to oneness and difference?
Of course, to understand the difference, we have to understand first the oneness. It's no question of understanding the difference before understanding first the oneness. The oneness is that God is one without a second. Nobody is equal to Him. Nobody is superior to Him. Everything is coming from Him. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetanam ekobahonam yovidadhati kamam. We are many eternals. He is the supreme eternal. We are many conscious living entity. He is the supreme conscious living entity. And we are many and He is one. But still He satisfies the desires of everyone according to their qualification, of course, to their karma. But He's the one who allows that to happen. So in that sense, we are different and non-different from Krishna in the sense we are part of Him, but we are tiny and He's all. The same quality is there, but in minute quantity. That's the difference. The difference is the quantity, not the quality. He's a person, we are a person, but He's the supreme person. We are the small person. And the duty of the small is to serve the great. That's Bhakti Yoga. So philosophy ends up in Bhakti Yoga. Because just philosophy without practical application doesn't make sense. It's just theoretical knowledge.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All right, thank you everyone. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.